It says you're live.
We're live. I'd like to call the June 2nd meeting of the West Tawakoni City Planning and Zoning Commission to order, please. First, I'd like to have each of the members identify themselves as present.
Bill Creed, place one president.
Chris Bonowitz here, chairman.
James Chairman. Present.
Sharon Cunningham, present.
All right, we do have a quorum, so we will continue with the public hearing.
We called the order at what time?
Oh, we
Just
did
for the
call the
record.
order at, excuse me, call
Okay.
order at 6:08.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. This public hearing has to do with considering amending the West Tawakoni zoning ordinance by amending Chapter 12, Article 21, Special and Additional Regulations. Section 21.14, Storage Containers, F, Notice of Violation, and G, Notice of Removal of Storage Container. Providing for a penalty of any violation of this ordinance not to exceed $2,000, providing for savings, severability, and repealing clauses, providing for an effective date, and providing for a publication of the caption hereof. All right, the public is welcome to comment. Are there any people who would like to speak addressing this consideration of change?
And they just told me in public. So basically, all we're trying to do here is modify how the notice is sent. It's just a safety modification where currently I have to go into people's yards on their businesses, actually post to the storage container. This just modifies it where I don't physically have to do that. We can just do it by certified mail. So it's more of a safety thing than anything. It's not modifying anything other than how it's noticed.
Is that a certified mail where they actually have to sign for it so that we can prove they got it?
Yes, but if they refuse it or it comes back, it also goes regular mail. So if it's refused or it comes back unclaimed, it is still considered good service.
Okay.
Because it does go regular mail.
Any other questions or comments from committee?
No, I think we just don't have any comments. Well, that's how all of the other ones are served, right?
This is. Yes, we can, any other notice I do for notice of violation, they either go certified mail, they're hand delivered, which most cases people are at work, so they're certified mail. Some of them can be posted in front yards, that's via signs or, stop work orders can go on their doors, stuff like that. But the majority of mine go by certified mail.
I have a question. Is the container that's visible next to a commercial building, as I drove here on 276, on the south side of 276, is that?
For a commercial area to have a storage container per our ordinance, chapter 12 ordinance, it has to be behind the main building. It has to have a 6-foot privacy fence or evergreens, and it has to be painted a neutral color. There is also a permit that is required for each container.
So that container, permit setting aside, it has one of the three things. It's a neutral color. I think.
Right.
So it's beige, but it's very visible and it has no fence. Okay. So that would be an example of one that you would.
That we will be fighting with.
Further questions, anyone? All right, I will call the,
Oh, I'll make a motion that we close out this public hearing.
Agreed, yeah.
Are you,
Somebody needs to make a
somebody's got a
second.
second?
The second,
Okay, James second.
all those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Okay, and that was at what time?
That ended at 6:13.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the West Tawakoni Planning and Zoning Commission. And again, an attendance call to see who's here.
Bill Creed, place one here.
Chris Bonowitz, chairman.
James Champ, present.
Sharon Cunningham, present.
All right. Now, you should have received copies of the minutes from November 4th, January 6th, and March 3rd meetings.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of, January, what? January, February, and March?
That was-
November 4th,
November,
January 6th,
January.
March 3rd.
Okay, November fourth, January sixth, March third.
A second.
All right. All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. That passes unanimously. We're calling for more citizen input. If you'd like to speak some more, Larry, you got 3 minutes.
No, I have nothing to add to this great meeting.
Well, we bring that up because we know that you're on the, county NZ. So,
Yeah,
we always like to hear from them guys.
well, that's very nice of you.
Thank
Appreciate that you know that we're around.
Very well. Thank you, Larry. Old business, there is none. The new business, why we're here tonight, is to amend the West Waukene zoning ordinance by amending chapter 12, Article 21, special and additional regulations, section 21.14, storage containers, F, notice of violation, and G, notice of removal of storage container, providing for a penalty for any violation of this ordinance not to exceed $2,000, providing for saving, severability, and repealing clauses, providing for an effective date, and providing for the publication of the caption hereof. So we talked about this, Sharon had her questions answered.
Okay, so I got a question. They're basically saying that she can send them a certified letter. But what is the $2,000 penalty and who's that based on? And then what's it for?
That's the fine if they don't do what they're supposed to do.
But the only thing we're changing is how you do it.
Right.
Not
That
the-
$2,000 fine's not even anything we're changing.
Yeah,
That's
so it
already
shouldn't
in
even be
place.
in there.
Well, it's basically, so what they did was they took the current one,
Right.
they redacted the part that we wanted removed and added what we wanted to add. So it's still in there. It's
Okay.
always been in there.
Okay.
We're just saying that the mode of notification has to change.
Right. All we're saying is that I don't have to go on people's property and put a notice on there.
All right,
I don't
so
have to
is
get a
this-
warrant and I don't have to get bit by a dog.
Is this just containers or does this include them big 18-wheeler trailers and all that kind of stuff?
Storage containers, those 18-wheeler containers are storage containers.
Yeah, well, some of them still have the wheels and all that, so.
Yeah,
I'm
does-
aware of one down the road.
At
Is-
at the American Legion.
I'm aware of that one too.
It is the
That wasn't the one that
definition
came to
of
mind, though.
container defined somewhere.
It should be, yes, and in the P and Z book, it should be.
Should say it should be in your definitions. In the P&Z book.
Well, the one at the Legion, we got everything covered with what you were talking about, with the exception of 6-foot privacy fence. I'm not,
Or evergreen.
6-foot privacy fence ain't even gonna cover that thing.
I know.
It's gonna cover like.
Most of them
above the
though, if you
wheels.
think about it, are sitting on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I know of 3 in the city currently that are on wheels. Now, that's all I found so far on wheels. That doesn't mean that's all there is, but that's what I found. Most of them are on the ground though. So a 6-foot fence is gonna come close. It at least shields it from public view, which is what the goal was when
Right.
that ordinance was written.
Let me think of a way to say this. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve and recommend this zoning change to the West Waukene City Council.
I make the motion that we approve the way they've written it as far as how she's allowed to place the notices by certified mail. and retract from the way the other one was. And suggest to the city council that we amend this.
I second that.
All right. So we have a motion to approve the passage of the planning and zoning, suggesting that the city council approves the changes to chapter 12, article 21 of the city code. So all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously.
I was really excited to see that you remembered all.
I had help. Okay, now, is there anything you'd like to talk about or any concerns that we should address for the city as far as the planning and zoning go around town? Any issues you want to address?
You know, I'm thinking that we should take the ordinance book and go through it a little bit at a time and make sure that everything that's in there is up to date and has been voted on and approved by the city, because some of it hasn't been. I've been here a long time. I know a lot of it that hasn't been. But so if we take it a little bit at a time, we can probably knock some of it out.
In the last Veritas meeting, they were saying that, I mean, we won't be able to reconstruct everything. You know, there are people who have done this over and over again, done bigger cities that have done a better job. So they were saying that we could take some of that, you know, a template of a good practice.
Yep.
And then maybe edit it or change it a little bit as we need it, or just take it just like that.
Well, once we get it all verified, certified and all that, we can always put it on the webpage, but I don't, on the webpage to do it. I don't feel comfortable doing that until we make sure everything's correct. Otherwise, we're just putting out misinformation instead of good information.
That's what I'm saying, you know, let's just take a good document
Right?
instead of rewriting everything.
Yes.
And then if we have and review it, if we make some changes and be done with it.
I agree.
All right, well, let's save that for the next meeting, and in the meantime, I will try and contact the mayor and Annette and see if we can come up with a source for this information. Perhaps Veritas will assist in this. We'll address it and make a confirmation at the next meeting as to when that will take place.
I would be, I certainly don't know the whole planning design document. I would be curious how container is defined, because I think if we you start enforcing.
Is that the planning and zoning book?
Yeah.
Can I?
Sure. If you can get it closed.
I don't need. Okay.
And the other thing, this talks about storage containers. Anywhere in the planning and zoning, does it talk about the use of containers for uses other than storage? Because as we're looking at the zoning and what part and what can and can't be in different parts of town, they're doing all sorts of creative things with container architecture.
The zoning's on the right side for the container part.
And I just wondered if somebody wants to build a really cool modern home using containers, do we have that in the ordinance somewhere? What,
I actually don't think we do.
you know, and I don't want to borrow trouble, but, you know, as people are looking for more affordable means of housing, people are building houses, I mean, they're really fancy things out of containers all over the world. Just because this piece of the ordinance talks about using container storage, do we want to completely eliminate any use of containers in the city for other reasons.
I don't understand what you're talking about, that I've seen photos of
Beautiful.
things that people have done.
Yeah, but they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get some of them things done that way.
Well, that's
Sure.
one thing that people are doing with containers. Other people are doing, like post-disaster housing,
Shops.
temporary housing, shops, all sorts of stuff, pop-up shops. You know,
They're used a
all-
lot too now with like underground shelters.
That's
Yeah.
a fact. Yeah,
And-
tornado shelters and
Yeah.
all that.
What do they call those houses that are partially buried?
Bomb shelters.
You know, there's all sorts of stuff. The reason I have these two books is when I used to work for one of the GE businesses, we developed tracking products for over-the-road trailers and intermodal containers and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of got interested in.
I may not have it all in that book. That particular binder's not nearly as big as the one Chuck used to carry.
I have Chuck's.
But,
I think what are the other cities doing,
I have Chuck's.
you know,
That's the
I'll
thing.
go through every one I have and see if I can find it, 'cause I think it's defined in there.
but it's just something, you know, as I think it would be interesting to think about it before it is a problem.
Yeah, and I think that we are, if we're gonna look at other cities, it's got, we need to look at cities that are around about our size, not necessarily Dallas. Because, well, they can afford a lawsuit a heck of a lot better than we can. If we screw something up. Not that we would.
Maybe a city of Crisco or somebody, I mean, that's why I was saying, you know, maybe we get a good document that might have,
Or
you know, better definitions.
Capel grew from little bitty to
Yeah.
great big.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll address that in the next meeting. Any other comments from the committee?
I make the motion that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, all in favor? Aye.
And I love these.
And it's
20-minute
6:24.
And at 6:26.
6:26.
God, y'all just ramble. Well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah. Appreciate
You got something to say, Alfred?
Say it.
One.